What if you set a boundary and he runs away? What if you're waiting a long time for him to step up? What if he never does? What if you're alone forever? What if you never find anyone? Okay, here's the thing that I have learned through some very painful lessons and some very interesting developments that have happened. Currently, to the outside, I'm technically single. I mean, my man hasn't come in yet to claim me. But in my heart, I'm already taken. I already know that he will step up. Because here's the thing that you need to understand about people. Anyone who truly wants to be in your life, even if they've messed up before, if they are willing to do anything it takes, and they don't want to manipulate you, mess with you, like they're willing to do the work because you have such strong boundaries, they'll step up. This goes for business, this goes for friendship, this goes for everything. If something is truly worth it, if it's that valuable, you're going to get out of your own way and you're going to do the work, right? So, last year, it was my turn to step up and speak my truth, even though I really didn't want to. I was so scared. And I wanted it to be safe for me. Like, I thought I had to go a certain way. But in the end, none of that mattered. All that mattered in the end was that he knew how I felt. And so I did the really scary thing. But before I did the really scary thing, I had to do a lot internally. And the same thing when I decided to raise my prices, the same thing when I decided to leave and do my own thing and to move to my next level. There's this analogy of caterpillar soup. Okay, so the idea is in order for a caterpillar to become a butterfly, it actually has to liquefy its body. Now, if it goes and liquefies its body in just anywhere, like you would just be stepping in caterpillar soup and you'd be like, ew, gross. So what does it do? It builds a cocoon around itself. And you can't see anything that's happening as this cocoon is like around this caterpillar and inside it's turned into soup. Unless you could take a camera and look inward. But the fact is, like, the caterpillar is doing something. It's turning into that butterfly. That transformation needs to happen. And it often happens in darkness. So here's the thing that I've noticed. It's like, if someone truly wants to be with you, they will step up. And you might not see any outward motion. You might not see any actions happening. It might look like nothing's happening, but they're taking small, tiny little steps toward that big reveal. And that's what I was doing last year is I realized, I got scared and like, okay, I need to create my cocoon and I need to turn into caterpillar soup in order to be the butterfly that is able to transcend all those fears, to be able to open up fully, to trust this. And as women, we have to go first. Sorry, ladies, but it's true. If you want your true love to come in, you want the man that truly wants to step up for you, and you don't want to have to tell him a million times what to do, and you don't want to have to micromanage, and you want to just surrender. Do you know what surrender really takes to be able to truly, fully trust in your partner? That so many of us are unwilling to do? We got to be willing to turn into that caterpillar soup. Yeah, we got to go first. We got to go through all of that. We have to unlearn all the people-pleasing habits that we had, the overlooking of the behaviors that we really don't want, that we're really not okay with, like the ghosting or the chasing other women, or you can just tell he's not stepping up. There's something that's causing you to not feel safe, and he's not stepping up. I find it interesting today that this topic came up, because also today across my reel was about male birth control. There's now a pill that men can take that will immobilize the sperm for 2 hours so that they can basically have, and it's got no side effects, and it completely halts fertility in those 2 hours. It has no side effects. It's male birth control. And I think this is a great thing. But you know what I also saw in the comments? There were so many women that are like, I can't trust my partner to take that. I can't trust him. And my question now, knowing what I know and having gone through the caterpillar soup and turned into the butterfly and just waiting for my prince to do the same and waiting for that sign that he's emerged as the butterfly, and maybe he already has and he's just got to work through some things, but recognizing that I am basically waiting for this to happen, and I just got to trust that it's happened and that it's happening and that it's working through. But women saying things like, oh, I can't trust my partner. Well, why are you sleeping with him? If you honestly can't trust him to take a pill and take it correctly to prevent you from getting pregnant, why are you sleeping with him? Because you're afraid he's going to leave you if you suddenly put a barrier up and say, look, if you want to be with me, you have to ensure that I don't get pregnant because I'm not ready to carry a child right now. You can't trust your partner? No wonder we have so many problems with intimacy. No wonder why we have so many problems feeling the full extent of pleasure. You can't trust your partner? Why are you with them? If you can't trust them yet, do not give them access to you. I recently had a dream that it's like, we have a sacred temple. Our body is a sacred temple, and we need to be able to give that to someone that we can fully trust, so we can surrender, so we can feel the ecstatic feelings of the energies coming in. You can't feel that when you don't trust someone. Believe me, I tried. I tried for years, and I couldn't understand why it wasn't working, why it would work sometimes, but it wouldn't work other times. And once the thrill of the chase, the thrill of the exhilaration and the not knowing, like that would go away. And suddenly the sex wasn't satisfying. And I wondered what it was. It's surrender. It's being able to fully trust and to be fully connected to someone. And to know without a shadow of a doubt that that is your person. And so many of us were just like, oh, well, they won't step up, so we'll just find somebody else. And I'm not subscribing to that anymore. I'm just not. I trust that if my prince hasn't come in yet, it's because he's still got some work to do and he's working through his stuff, and that he will come in. And maybe it's taking him longer than it does in other areas. Maybe in other areas of your life, you're used to being able to go through the caterpillar soup and go through your transformation and get where you want to be, and you're highly successful at that. But then there's an area of your life that it takes longer. And you're wondering, why isn't this working? Everything else worked fast, but this isn't working fast. Well, it's not meant to. I mean, I tried to rush my healing at the beginning. And I was wondering why I couldn't seem to get over a few hurdles when it came to just opening up about my feelings. Why couldn't I do it? Why couldn't I share? Well, because I was trying to rush my healing. I was glossing over it, and I was refusing to turn into that caterpillar soup that I really needed to turn into. But you know, the universe kind of sends you things until you turn into that caterpillar soup. It's like, I'm going to continue to make this hard for you until you are ready to liquefy and let go of all the control and trust that after you turn into that caterpillar soup, you will turn into a butterfly. You won't be a caterpillar anymore. You can't go back. But trust that something better is coming. And so now I've had to really trust this. I have to trust that he's gone through his caterpillar soup and that he'll come in when he's ready. And that because I'm the dream girl, because I'm the one he wants, that he is going to move heaven and earth because I am amazing. And that's the other thing, ladies, is that you have to recognize that you are already enough. You are already someone's dream girl. There is someone out there who has the exact blueprint of you as their dream girl. And men, there is someone out there who has the exact blueprint of you as their dream boy. Now, recognizing that you are somebody's dream, that they may not have even met you yet, but you are somebody's dream. And you got to trust that. You need to trust that there is someone out there for you who they are going to see you and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you're my dream. And you also have to be aware that when they are face to face with you as their dream, that is going to scare the hell out of them because they've never seen that before. And they won't know if they can fully trust it. And they're going to have to work through their fears. And it's not up to you to push them through that. You can't push caterpillar soup. You can't push them into a butterfly. You try to rush that. You try to break them out of their cocoon early. You're going to stunt their growth of their wings. So if you love them, if you truly love them, if they are truly your person, can you trust that they'll come back? If you set a boundary, if you say, look, I am expensive to be with now. Not monetarily expensive, but expensive in the sense that you got to step up. You got to commit to me. There can't be any ghosting. There can't be any running away. There can't be any of these hurtful things that you're doing. It can't be like that. Or I need you to actually share your heart with me. I don't want to play these guessing games. I don't want to have to wonder if you actually feel what I think you feel for me. I want it actually spelled out. I want to know. Can I look into your eyes and can I see it? I want to be able to see it in your eyes. I want to see it in the action that you took. Because if you were just in it just to have a good time, then it wasn't it. But if you're truly meant for me, I'm going to see it in your eyes. And I'm going to see all of it. And I'm going to know that there's going to be a point you're going to be terrified and you're going to have to liquefy. You're going to have to become the highest version of yourself that I already believe in you and I already know you can be. You can do this. I believe in you. And at the same time, while you're doing this, I'm just going to have to trust that it's happening because I can't chase after you. I can't micromanage you doing the work. That's not going to help you. No, you've got to step up because I need to know that you want it this badly, that you're going to step up. Well, I stepped up. I went after what I wanted. I told him. I shared everything. And he had to go into his cocoon. And I just have to trust that when he comes out of that, he's going to be a butterfly. And he's going to come in, he's going to be my hero, and he's going to be everything that I asked for and more. He's going to be everything that he believes that I deserve and more. And it's going to be amazing when that happens. And in the meantime, yeah, I got a lot of attention from a lot of men. And it's not them. I already know. When you know without a shadow of a doubt, and it takes a while for you to really recognize, but once you know, you can't unknow. There's a difference between looks good on paper and you feel it in your heart and soul. Well, I feel this one in my heart and soul. And I've tried. I have tried to think about, like I was just doing this. It's like, well, what if somebody else comes in who's got more wealth or is willing to give me the world, is willing to give me everything? But it's just not going to work. Because I know. And honestly, it's not fair. It's not fair to use somebody else while you're waiting for the other person to step up. You just have to trust it, that they will. And if they don't, you'll see that in time. You'll see that they won't step up. You will feel it. Whether they're doing the work or not, you'll actually feel it. With my ex, I trusted that either he was going to step up or he was going to fall away. Well, it turns out it wasn't right. The more I focused on myself, the more I could see it wasn't right. So if you're focusing on yourself and you feel that that isn't who you are anymore and that person isn't who you're meant to be with, that's one thing. But if you're constantly stepping up in life and you're constantly evolving and it's still coming back to them and they're doing their work, eventually they'll come in. We got to stop messing with other people's soulmates, though. Seriously. It's hurting their hearts and it's scaring them and it's making it so that they can't trust when the one comes in for them. Not to mention you're kind of keeping somebody away from their growth path. If you've recognized that you're just hanging on just because you don't want to be alone, or you're hanging on because you can't have the one that you truly, truly want, and you're using them, you're hurting them, let them go. In time, if you let them go and you recognize actually they were the one that you want and you love them and it hurts to be away from them, and actually you are willing to step up, you're willing to do the work, you're willing to fight for that, then it's true. But if as you're continuing to focus on yourself, you're starting to think of all the things that it's just really not going to work anymore, who they are is like, it's like, oh, that's who you are? Oh, that's not who I want. Like, it doesn't work for me. You eventually get to the point where you don't have that feeling anymore. You don't have that desire to chase. And you continue to see how they keep disappointing you, and you just stop giving them chances. Because there's no real love there. It was just attachment. But how do you really trust it? And I get it. It can be really scary. Well, here's the question I have for you. Do you deserve someone in your life who is 110% committed to you? Who knows without a shadow of a doubt that no matter who comes in, it's always going to be you? Do you deserve someone who, even if they have a million admirers, you know they're coming home to you, they're not going to be swayed by temptation? Do you deserve to have someone who's so devoted to you that even if there's things that they need to work on, they are going to go and do the work? They're not going to expect you to compromise on who you are just so that they can continue to stay small. They know it's for their highest potential and highest growth, and they are committed to the relationship and they're committed to you, and they want to do it to get past their own limitations to be everything that you deserve to have. Because they know that they deserve it too. And because you're holding that vision and you know that there's a version of them out there that they will be able to move into that because that is who they truly are. Don't you deserve that? If you're thinking, hell yes, I deserve all of that, then instead of saying, but I'm never going to get it, why don't you believe that you deserve it and it's coming? And maybe the person that is meant to give it to you is currently caterpillar soup in a cocoon, working towards transforming themselves into that for you. Because they are. There is someone out there, maybe you already know them, Maybe you haven't met them yet, but they're working towards it, and you're going to run into them. And you're going to understand why it didn't work out very well with everyone else, why everything else is falling apart, why you had to compromise so much of yourself, but then you meet that person, you realize you didn't have to compromise a thing about who you really are. You can actually be a more magnificent version of yourself. And you see that person and all you see is them. And you know you've got things to work on and you're willing to work on them. You're willing to get to that level because they are your ultimate dream. The dream that you gave up on, the one you thought didn't exist, they are it. And they love you unconditionally. They're also not going to let you compromise on yourself. They're going to be watching. They're going to be paying attention. They're going to be like, are you ready yet? If you're not ready, we're not doing this yet. If you're not ready, that's okay. You've got more work to do. Go be caterpillar soup. I'll see you when you transform. And my heart's still open to you. And it doesn't matter if it takes you 3 months or 4 months or 5 months or 6 months. Even if you're the kind of person who normally only takes 90 days and already has most of a transformation by 60 days and can usually overcome any obstacle. If this is taking you a little bit longer to be ready, it's okay. I get it. Sometimes it takes longer to gestate than you thought. It's not a timeline. The timeline is different for everything. I mean, I'm in the realm of birth. You know how many moms I talk to that are like, I'm 40 weeks, why isn't anything happening? I guess I have to be induced. I guess I don't go into labor on my own. No. Let it unfold. Because you deserve to have the ecstatic experience. You don't deserve to be traumatized. You can't rush the process. You can't insert Pitocin into it. It traumatizes you. So no, if you're not ready, that's okay. If there's someone out there that you love so deeply, they are your dream, they are your everything, and you know that as you are right now, you can't come in yet because you're still caterpillar soup and you want to come in as that magnificent butterfly. I get it. But just know that the person who loves you deeply, the one who loves you the most, is also going to love you even when you're caterpillar soup. And they're going to help you build that cocoon. And they'll encourage you and they'll wait for you as you turn into that butterfly, and they're not going to leave. They'll honor that cocoon that you're in, and they'll still be there when you transform. You won't be abandoned. You go into that cocoon liquefying as a butterfly, you come out as the butterfly. You're not going to be alone. Your butterfly queen or king is going to be waiting for you. Be like, welcome, I've been waiting. We went into the cocoons. I came out a little earlier than you, but I'm not going to fault you for taking your time. I've just been flying. It's beautiful up here, by the way. Now that you're a butterfly, let's fly. Yeah, it was fun when we were caterpillars on the ground. We had no idea what was going on, and it was kind of scary going into that cocoon, not knowing what was going to be on the other side. And it was painful being liquefied into goo inside that cocoon and not knowing when that was going to end. And it was kind of magical as we started to form those wings and become a butterfly. And it was still kind of scary to break out of that cocoon. But now that we've done it, look, we've got the whole world. That's what you deserve. You deserve someone who's willing to be there with you as you transform into the butterfly. Not the one who says that it's taking too long, peace out, I'm going to go find somebody else. And you need to trust that the one meant for you is going to stay. They are going to wait. They are going to watch. They are going to hold out that hope and that dream for you. Because you are their dream. And going anywhere else, you're constantly going to be wondering, well, what about the one back in that cocoon that I'm waiting for? How are they doing? Are they okay? I'm sending them love. Even as I'm flying in the sky, I'm looking back down on the ground where that cocoon is. I'm just watching. I'm checking. Is today the day that they break out? No? Okay, well, I'm going to fly a little higher and I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to just come check. Is today the day? No? Okay. But you know exactly where I am. You know how you can let me know when you've broken out of that cocoon. And I'll still be checking. I'll be checking in. Now, I may not be able to see anything of what's going on in that cocoon because the cocoon is basically like a blocked door. I can't see anything. I have no way of knowing what's going on. But as long as that cocoon is the way it is, I know there's got to be something that's going on right now that's being worked through. But I'm a magnificent, beautiful butterfly. And I'm having a wonderful time flying up in the clouds, and I'm having a wonderful time scattering my little pollen all over, like the nectars and all the things, and like scattering all over the flowers and flitting from flower to flower and making sure that everything is pollinated and happy, and it's just beautiful. The garden that I'm building, the flowers I'm tending to, it's beautiful. I couldn't do that when I was a caterpillar. I can do it as a butterfly. And I love my butterfly wings. And I know that my butterfly, my prince, he's going to have the most magnificent wings when he steps out of his cocoon. And your prince or princess, whoever you're waiting for, they're gonna be magnificent. But can you wait for them? Because if you can't wait for them, it's not real love. If you honestly can't wait for them, if you honestly think that they're just never going to do it and you don't believe in them and you are like, peace out, I'm done, and you really can't wait for them and you don't give them a second thought, then that wasn't it. But if you're constantly wondering and you've constantly got your heart open to it and you trust it and you know you deserve it and you're not willing to settle for anything less because you know that it'd just be using somebody and it's not okay. Once you know that, can't unknow it. So why do I have so much faith? Because I have to. I have to have faith. It's all I've got. It's really all any of us have. And maybe it's not a relationship. Maybe it's a business, a dream that you have. You know how fast things can be taken away? Nothing is fixed. Nothing is permanent. What you have today, be grateful for because it could all be taken away tomorrow, but you're still going to be there. And can you trust that if something falls away, it's making room for something else? Can you trust that if you give up being a caterpillar, that you will eventually turn into a butterfly? Can you trust that even if something doesn't work out, that maybe it's the next thing, you keep going? You don't ever give up. You hold on to that dream. You don't give up on your dream. Can you trust that even if something goes wrong, that it'll all work out? That maybe there's something working behind the scenes. There's a whole bunch of pieces. I mean, there's people that have to be in certain places, at certain times, and there's certain events that need to take place for other things to fall into place. It's like a recipe. Or like when you're cooking. You don't pull the cake out of the oven until it's done, and you don't pull the butterfly out of the cocoon until it's done. Or you end up with a mess. Well, you don't want to be a mess. Now, my 5 pillars I recognized recently, they're a cocoon. They're a safety net, they're a trampoline, and it's also a cocoon. It's how you can turn into that butterfly from being a caterpillar. Because once you're faced with the change that has to take place in your life for you to move to that next level, it's scary. Yeah, you have to turn into caterpillar soup. Everything that you thought you knew has to fall away. And you're going to be soup. So build your cocoon. So if you are waiting for someone, here is how it can be a lot easier. Even when you're going through the soup yourself, or recognizing that you're kind of feeling things. First of all, having the mindset that this is just part of the transformation process. This is it. Getting curious about it. What's coming next? What am I going to see now? How is this crumbling that's happening right now going to serve me later? How is it going to heal me? Crying is healing. When the tears come on now, I let them come through me and I cry and I feel better. I let my emotions flow freely now. Whereas before I used to try to control them, I don't anymore. Education is important. Helps you understand what you might be able to expect, and also recognizing that your journey is completely unique to you. But at least recognizing that if other people might be going through similar to you or have gone through it, seeing their journey, understanding the steps, even if they're not in the same particular order, but being like, okay, yeah, this is normal. Other people have gone through this. Okay, this makes sense. And getting that education so that even if you're in that soup, you at least know what's happening. You at least know. It's like, oh, I am liquefying right now. That's part of it. That's what I'm supposed to do. In order to become a butterfly, I need to liquefy. Instead of being like, oh my God, what's happening to me? I'm going to melt and I'm going to liquefy and that's it. I'm done. Recognizing, oh, this is a transformation. The environment. There's a lot of safety that you need to create. I've done a really good job of creating a nice, peaceful sanctuary in my home so that even though I may not have my prince right now, I've got the security that I need. I've fortified my finances enough that I know what my budget is every month and I work with that. Knowing that once my prince comes in, things will change and that I'll be reworking everything. Setting up systems in place. Because I don't have anybody else right now in my life that can help me. So I'm doing it all on my own, but creating those systems in place. Right facilitators helps too. People have already gone through the transformation, understand a little bit of my journey and what I'm going through, and understand what that next level is, and they can walk me through it, and they have tips. That's somebody that, like, you need to have that. And then there's the right support. Friends. Sometimes friends who have kind of gone through it already, who know where you're at, who understand. I'm doing that for a lot of women right now in my life. I've noticed a pattern recently where there's a lot of friends, female friends, that are going through something similar and trying to see if their men are going to step up, or the one that they have been in brief connection with, if they're going to step up, or they're single and they're wondering, it's like, well, when is this man going to show up in my life? And recognizing, I've already been through all that part. I've gotten to the point where I can have faith. Whereas there's a lot that are still at the beginning where I was 2 years ago. So having those friends who get it, who truly get it, who aren't just guessing, but it's like, no, I get it. I know you're ready. You want this person. You are calling them in, and you are wondering why it's taking so long. But can you trust that if they are truly the one for you, that they'll step up? Because they will. You're their dream girl. You just have to remember, you're their dream girl. You're their Cinderella. They're the prince with the slipper in their hand. They're going to do everything they can to get to you. But the thing is that they've got to be ready. Because you have got boundaries in place now. And you got to keep those boundaries in place. You can't compromise on them. And they might test you to see if you'll tolerate stuff. And you got to stay firm in those boundaries. You got to trust they'll step up. You got to trust that if you put those boundaries in place and you say, look, this is what it takes to be in connection with me. Like, this is what I need to feel safe, to be able to fully trust you, to fully surrender to you, to fully be in my feminine energy and be that for you. I need to trust that I can actually let go. That I can let go of my fear, that I can let go of my control, that I can let go of the need to micromanage, and that if I ask for something, that it will be given to me, and that if you can't give it to me right away, that you will communicate that, so I can either give it to myself or I can be more patient and wait for it, because I can recognize that there's limitations, that maybe you aren't able to do it right now, but you can give it to me later. Maybe you've got something you need to do. I mean, think about it. Think about how you really want that relationship to be. Do you want to keep micromanaging? You've already done that. If you've had multiple relationships, you know how it is. The disappointment, the frustration. What if you never had that? What if it was like, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get it right now, and I know it will happen. It will happen. I don't know when. And he loves me so much that he will move heaven and earth for me. He will do what I need him to do. He will step up. He will chase after me. He will open the door. He will stop hiding. He will come in with the offer that I'm waiting for, and he will say everything that I've waited for him to say. He will. I'm his dream girl. Of course it'll happen. And of course, in the meantime, I'm also going to get attention from other people, but I'm not entertaining it. Of course I would. Why wouldn't we? We're beautiful, magical creatures. We're incredible. And of course someone wants to be friends with you. You're an awesome, interesting person to talk to. Of course someone's going to want to work with you. You're really helpful. You're very valuable. You're highly valuable. That seems to be the theme of the day anyway. That's the theme that came up in my mastermind with my friends. And I was even saying, it's like, well, what if it was easy? What if it's like you go out and you reach out to people because you think that they're interesting to talk to, and you talk to them, and of course they want to talk back to you and chat with you. You're really interesting. Are you interesting? Are you a fun person to talk to? I mean, if you don't think that you're a fun, interesting, magical person to talk to, why would anybody else? That's from a place of wounding. No, I know. I know without a shadow of a doubt. And the rest is just working through their stuff. So can you trust that you are a magical, mystical butterfly, and somebody is looking at you and they're like, I gotta turn into a butterfly now. It's time so I can fly with my butterfly. It's gotta happen. Or if you want to go the Disney route, Ray, the firefly in Princess and the Frog. And he sees Evangeline in the sky, the beautiful star. And he just wants to be with her. And at the end of the movie, yeah, the firefly had to die. But at the end, there's a star that comes right up next to Evangeline. He gets to be with her. And Naveen wanted to be with Tiana. And instead of being the layabout that he was as a prince before, no, he stepped up for her. So yeah, your true love will step up for you. The people who are meant to be in your life will step up for you. And the ones who aren't, they'll fall away and it'll be okay. Because you're not caterpillar soup anymore, you're a beautiful butterfly. And butterflies do not need to worry about the things that caterpillars worry about. Butterflies fly with other butterflies. And they spread value in the world by pollinating beautiful flowers. And they themselves are a delight. Don't you watch butterflies and you just see them and they're just so beautiful and magnificent? I mean, we have butterfly gardens. Just so we can see butterflies more often. And to have a butterfly land on you is the most beautiful thing. I know, because I've had butterflies land on me and it's just, I love watching them. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. You gotta have faith. You gotta trust that everything will work out. You gotta trust that those who are meant to be with you will step up for you. You gotta trust that even as you're going through caterpillar soup and you're in your cocoon, that something better is coming. You will become a butterfly. So if you're in a mess right now, or if you're about to try to break out of the cocoon and you aren't sure what's on the other side, you're not sure if your butterfly is waiting for you. Your butterfly's waiting for you. She's been waiting all this time for you to break out of your cocoon and come fly with her. All right? So, go fly. I love you.